Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everyone. And very quickly, let's start with a sound check. Please let me know if I'm audible and I haven't forgotten to click on a button or something like that. It's always my worst nightmare, which I always fall into and do mistakes. But nonetheless, if someone can just let me know if I'm audible. And let's see how many are out there. Hello, Lumix. So Lumix the first to reply and waiting for confirmation for the sound. I mean, people would have complained if I was just sitting here, just moving my lips. So I guess I am audible. Loud and clear. Luke, thank you very much. Luke Nukem. Oh, that's funny. So let's go and do a quick round of opening housekeeping. Oh, there we go. Scott, Lumix, Basil. Oh, yes. Basil comments on my beard, and it's been a bit chilly here in Quebec lately. So yeah, this keeps me warm. Nice. It's especially if I'm cleaning out feet of snow we're getting, and the snow melts, and then it freezes on my beard. It's quite funny. Actually, now I realize why all the northern explorers had beards, and I'll trim it soon. By the way, it appears that I will be going to NAB this year, barring any I don't know, death or dismemberment on my part. I will be at NAB in April, so that's fun. So, with all that said, let's go quickly and do the housekeeping, and you can ask any questions and stuff like that. So let me do some link posting as well. Copy from here, go to the comments and paste this. Now, this is the link to rule all links. And you go to this page here, that will take you to the Max events. Cineversity let you sign up for news and stuff like that. And of course, the training team YouTube channel. And of course, asking your questions. So this is the form you're going to use. And the Max events page over here is curated and always populated with all the fun stuff that's coming up. So don't forget tomorrow to watch VFX and Chill. They've got some really cool stuff going on. Of course, all these videos are live streamed on the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel and the Maxon YouTube channel, but they're only hosted on the Maxon Training Team YouTube channel with additional timestamps and comments provided by a very good friend and mentor, Dr. Sassy. And he is working on the background to always keep us sane and informed. But nonetheless, please go to the Maxon ZBrush YouTube channel as well to learn how to use ZBrush, now available to use on the couch through your iPad. And last but not least, go to Cineversity to learn stuff. And for anyone that hasn't been paying attention lately, I have started building videos for scene nodes, and we've got 12 already published and awaiting a new set of 9 tutorials to be published. So it will give you the opportunity to take a closer look at nodes and see what you can do with all that fun stuff. Excellent. So let me put this down, and here's my Cinema 4D 2025.1.2. That's the one I'm using. And I do have some questions from the spreadsheet, but at the same time, let me bring this up. If you do have questions here, I really would like you to preface it with the word question so I can distinguish it from the general comments. That's number one. What else do we have here? Oh, yeah, down in the description, the description test. Oh my God, can't speak. In the description text under this video, if there are any files to be shared, currently I don't have any. But generally, when you're watching any of Maxon's shows, make sure that you check the description text and if there are any files available, just click on the link and follow whatever instructions so you can download the files. By the way, The amazing series with Dominic Rockley that ended last week about nodes has a ton of available project files for you to open up and dissect. Excellent. What else do I need to post? Just for anyone that didn't catch the paste, this is the link you should use when you're watching Ask the Trainer to go and find that page that has all the other links over there. Anything else? Yeah. And if you have any particular questions, you can always find me on Twixer, Twitter, X, which for questions and support, my DMs are open. Lately, I've been having a sleuth of people that want to offer me opportunities to participate in a meme coin. The funny thing is that they're all using very different people, all of them from different parts of the world. They all use the same text. Yeah, they're all reported, by the way, and blocked. So that's funny. But in any case, if you ask a question, I will do some research to see if you're a legit person, or at least appear to be. And I usually reply to everyone that sends me something, even if it's just to say hi. What else? Anything else? Yeah. Let me see some available questions. I think we're going to start with some questions from the chat. I'm going to maximize this window. No way. Iran Stern. Very good. I need to show my face for this. Iran, my very good friend. Hopefully, I'm going to see you soon. Are you coming to NAB? Iran is a long-standing trainer, a person I've learned a tremendous amount of stuff from, and he's always in my thoughts. So, a simple question. Any question for you, Iran? Is there an easy way to change the axis anchor point of a text object? No, same for other objects without converting it to shapes. Yes, well, unfortunately, no, unless you're going to use nodes. So let me, so a text object usually refers to the previously known as motext. Okay. Now, this particular object is a MoGraph object. Now, if you want to move the axis of this object without, or any object for that matter, so let's take a sphere, for example. So we cannot go to the axes and move it around because essentially, so what the technical detail is the following. So I always like to talk about this because it's one of those things that it's not very obvious. So here is an editable sphere, okay? And we have this perception that we can actually move the axes because we go to this little button here. And can I zoom in here? I think I had some zoomy things. I installed some things that can zoom in and out, and I have no idea where they are, and I forgot to test them. Anyway, so let's go back here. So we click on the Enable Axis Modification, and we can move the axes, right? Now, what's going on behind the scenes is that, well, we're not quite moving the axes. What we're doing is that we are moving the object and counter moving the points. And I'll tell you why this is important. So when you move down, let's say we move this down by, I don't know, 50 centimeters, all right? And you say, oh, my axis has moved 50 centimeters down. What we're actually doing is we're moving down this 50 centimeters, and then we're moving the points up 50 centimeters. So internally, this is what happens when we move the axes, okay? So what the practical problem is here is that essentially, I can't move the points of the sphere because they're generated on the fly using the axes as the anchor point for that. But because we have the ability to build capsules and stuff like that, there is an actual capsule axis, which is called geometry axes. And what this allows us to do is go and modify where the axis is going to be. So if you select this, you can see that the axis now is at the bottom or at the center or at the top. So what this will do is move the axes, keep it in the global position it is, but counter move the geometry. So this means that you can apply the same thing to the text. Now, don't forget that this is a MoGraph object, the MoText. So it will cause all sorts of weird things happening here. If you want to do that, just make sure that you put it under a connect object and apply this as a sibling rather than as a child. And there you go. So although we cannot do it directly, we can go and do it indirectly. And this is now your object that has the axes in the right position because the geometry has moved, essentially. So this is what the geometry axis does. So hopefully, brother Iran, that is what could solve this problem for you. And of course, let me know if that is not satisfactory. So, let me see. Oh, Iran is going to be good. Excellent. I'm just going to be with Maxon, but we will hang out and catch up. It's been a while, brother. It's been since 2019, I think. It's a long time. Yes, Creative Cow and many other places around. Any, if you pick up any After Effects or compositing rock, you'll find Iran underneath teaching. Excellent. Funny. All right, Lumix, what should a depressed nihilist do? Take it easy. Okay. Or chill out. Okay, let's see what else do we have here. I'm marking some questions. Where have you been? That's the question. Where have you been? Let's mark some more questions here. Good. Okay, let me check. Let's see if I can answer this question. Let's go. Can I use a gradient node with a dome light material? If it's not possible, is there a workaround? A gradient node, you mean a ramp, I would assume, with a dome light material. I do not know. There have been some updates with the light. So let's go and create a doom light. Let's go and add a graph. And if we go here, we should see, there we go, dome light material. Now I have no idea what this is going to do. Maybe the tint, although I hear that you can't put a ramp. The tint may need to be, yeah, it's a constant value. We can't use that. So we need an image here. Huh, that's a good question. How do we add an image here? So this is something I haven't looked at. I do not know. That is the question. So anything in the inputs and all that, I need to take a look at this and see if it's possible. My question is, I don't know why it shouldn't be possible. Maybe, I don't even know what happens if I take a ramp. It's not going to work. I just like to do these things just to mess with people. I put a ramp here, and red means, no, what are you doing? And I think if I go to my Redshift layout and start this, it's going to give me this. Yeah, it's not valid. Always check this little thing and right click to disable it. So yeah, the light does need a light material. It could be possible. I'm just not, well, let's try light. Let's see what this says. Portal light, physical light, dome light. Yeah, it's a dome light. Yeah, I'm going to ask around. If anyone knows the answer, you can post it and I'll take a look at replicating it. Because I would, yeah, I do see a reason why you would like instead of a image, because you can put an image, you can make a gradient in Photoshop. But it's, yeah, I would think that it's something useful. Okay, so let me keep this open because I need to remind myself what I need to look into. So where's that? It's a text, and let's go to a new one. Oh, let's see, gradient node. So we have to look at that. Let's see. Let's see this one here. I'm currently just trying to make a naked eye 3D effect. Okay, and I'm off a display curved. I'm trying to bake the texture of the curved screen and the texture of a curved screen, and it's black. I'm not sure what you mean. Baking. Are you trying to do some sort of projection like the ones we see outside in displays, whatever those are called, and you want to bake your animation so it's viewable? What are those things called? Let me see if I can. Outdoor, is it sort of outdoor? Uh, Outdoor 3D. Let's see. I don't even know how to search about this. Okay, so I would assume you mean something like these ads where from a certain point of view you can see. Is that what you mean? If you can clarify, I can give you some pointers on that. And even if that's the case, I have been asked by various users to how that you can do that from start to finish. So I may even do a tutorial about that at some point. Let's see what this question is. How can I animate an already rigged train, locomotive plus 3 cars, so that the cars move like a trailer behind a vehicle smoothly following the locomotive? So you want, okay. I don't know if the full rig is possible in the time frame we have. Um, so you want it to trail. The question is, how do you want to animate this? That would be more of the question, because there are different ways to create the illusion of things that are tied to each other. Let me give you the naive example here, right? This is going to be a naive example, but let's assume I have this, select both, control, just make it bigger. Let's say I have this, and I want the carriages to go around. Okay, if it's just two carriages and making it go around, I don't think it's going to be that difficult by aligning a couple of joints or nulls to move around. It's going to null. Again, it's depending on how you want to animate this. This can be done in 1,000 different ways. Okay, so one null, and I'm going to put an align animation align to spline, and use this spline here. So we have one animating around. Okay, there we go. Just make sure that your spline has a uniform subdivision, so everything moves the same. And then you can create a second one that moves at an offset. So if you can control these using XPresso, so now you have the beginnings, and you can make one look at the other, for example. If you want to do the XPresso, let's go programming tags XPresso, and I'm just gonna take this align to spline, and for this align to spline, I'm gonna take the position. Oops, undo. Come on, the position. Put it here. Then take a copy of the align to spline. Put the other one here. I have the position. And let's say I want to move these using some sort of slider. Let's say I'm going to put the slider on this one. So add user data. Let's go and call this slide. Now, again, this is one of many ways you can do it. Okay. Float, yeah, 0 to 100%. limit max, limit min. No, it's going to be any value. Okay. So now this has a user data that goes from 0 to 100%. And I'm going to put this in here and grab this data. And I'm going to drive one null using that position. So you will see here that null 1 is controlled by this, right? And null 2 is going to be the same plus, I don't know, a small value. So you can go here and you can add, I think it's math. I get carried away with nodes. So let's go and add, not 1, but let's say 0.1, a tenth. So put this in here, add a tenth, and put it here. So what you will see now is that these two are following each other behind each other. Now, that's based on distance. But generally, when you are rigging things like this, and of course, you can put a third one and a fourth one and so forth. You can take this, and you can take its tag. You can add another bunch of things, add another 0.2 here, and drive the third one. So now everything is moving. You can do this with line splines and joints. In that respect, you can use, what else can you use to make joints follow along? You can even use MoGraph to a certain extent. Let me create a new document with this, and let's go and grab this thing here, copy, and I'll paste it here. You can use a cloner in object mode, object, and drag this in here and create a few copies, and don't put them at count, put them at step. So not step, what am I talking about? Even distance. So you just make sure they're evenly distributed. Or let's stay with count. Now what I'm going to do is start and end. So we have 9 of these or 8 of these and so forth. And you can move them around, not the rate, but by offsetting there. So sort of moving around. That will be another way to make this effect. Now, there could be certain things where you want the hitch to always attach the same. So you want that to be the pivot point and so forth. So this is not going to work because your hitch is going to be here and not there. In this particular case, well, this is something that I would need to think about a bit more. If you hit me up on Twixer with a very simple setup of what you're trying to do and how you want to animate it, it's very, very important that what you expect from this. If you just want a toy train going around, you can put it off using something like this or with the nulls. If you want something more intricate where you're going to reverse, so yeah, you're driving, right? So if you want to drive something properly, then it becomes a totally different proposition, right? If you want to reverse and you want based on the front, the trailers, sorry, the trucks motion to move the trailer, that is a totally different proposition. That is a setup that will take a very long time to put together. That's why they have, I think there was a plugin that used to do cars and trucks and trailers and all that kind of stuff. Okie doke. Let's see. Well, techniques for simulate inertia and natural movement of the cars. You could, in theory, use dynamics to do that. All right. To a certain extent, you can get things to move around in a certain way. Well, since I mentioned dynamics, let's see an equivalent solution for this. Okay, so let's begin with a floor. All right, let's make it quite big. I'm sure I pressed a 0. There you go. And let's make this a collider and hide it. All right, floor. Let's make a few of these here. So I'm going to make it like this cart. I'm not going to make any wheels. I don't want to make any wheels. So 60, and I want to put it up 30. So it's 31, just so it's above the floor. And let's do a second one. and a third one. And it's not going to be correct. Don't tell me why something is not working. All right, let's go and add a connector. Let's add an spherical, angular connector, fixed, whatever. I can change it, spherical connector. And let's go here and add 1, 2, 3. All right. I'm going to use index. Index will kind of work as far as I can tell, or distance, and just increase that distance a bit. Okay, ball and socket. And want centers. Yeah, I want centers or closest points. Okay. Now, if I go here and do 900 frames, first of all, I'm going to press play. This should initialize. Give it a second. There you go. Good. In theory, I need to get the first one here. And I want it to follow position and follow rotation, 10 and 10. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of move it around. Let's see what this is going to do. So there you go. So I'm going to rotate this and I'm going to go that way. So you can see that there are ways sort of to do it. Now everything's on ice and they collide amongst themselves because you have to go to the connector and tell them to ignore collisions, and let's put them back in their position. Here, go to the connector, ignore. But you can see that it is possible. There are ways of doing it. And again, it all depends on how you want to animate it, what you expect it to do. But in any case, that's going to happen. That's going to work. And let's just put this in a little circle, or let's put this in my rectangle. And I'm going to get my rectangle and put it here, just so that it's aligned. And I'm going to take this and do an align to spline on this. And, oh, it's over there. So let me take my rectangle and rotate it 90 degrees and sort of move it so it's close to its little buddies here. Good. Move over there. Good. And move up. There we go. Just make sure that the connector has all the connections to it. Let's turn it off and on. Just make sure. And now I can just press play. Is it going to go the right way? Oh. All right. It's alive. I don't know why this is happening, but it's interesting nonetheless. It's alive. It's alive. Okay. So oh, I find that funny. Let's see. It's and tangential. Oh, it just needs to go the other way. I had them placed the wrong way. But in any case, you can see that we have a train. This is, how a disaster would happen. So that is sort of a demonstration of yeah. Please, Game Studio, can you not post the same thing 12 times? iPhone 16 and Redshift. I have no idea what you're talking about, but yeah, please don't spam the chat. It's impolite for the rest of the viewers. Okay, let's see. This is an interesting one. Can you set initial state for cinema 4D particles? And the answer is not directly. So we don't have currently some sort of button that would do that. There may be a workaround. I was working on some sort of workaround where you create a point object and stuff like that. It's not complete. Let me show you what the idea is before anything else. It's not going to work the way you expect it to, but there could be ways around it. But anyway, if you want to investigate certain ideas, let's say we have this basic emitter, and this basic emitter is sphere, and you press play. And actually, a better application of this would be something I have actually wanted. So let's assume that we have this plane here, and I'm emitting static particles, so a shot of, let's say, 10,000 particles, and with 0 speed. And what I want to do to these particles, I'm going to go to my particle layout here. I want them to have a flock, so flock, that will make them move apart. So I don't want cohesion. I just want separation, right, with certain centimeters. But at the same time, I want them to not just fly away. So I'm going to go and use a friction with very high values. And this is going to keep them in check. Let this go, let this go, let this go, let this go. So you can see they're sort of settling down, and they're not overlapping, and they've got their little distances and so forth. Okay. So let's assume that this, one more, I'm going to do one more parameter. I'm going to go in the math and make sure that the position y is 0. So I just want them to lie on the plane and avoid any contact. Okay, so let them squirm around until they sort of settle a bit. It's going to settle anyway. All right, stop. So let's say this is your initial position. What you can do is, because we can't just save this initial position, what you can do is go to the particle group, right-click, and say current state to object. What this has done now, it's created a point object with every point being a polygon, a particle. Sorry, every point being generated by the position of the particle. So you can now, let's get rid of everything. You have a point positions where you want a particle simulation to start if you were using a mesh emitter. So you go mesh emitter and emit on points, and you will see that the emission is going to happen on those points. So maybe you have, again, a shot, and the points is going to give you how many, and property is 100, and the direction is, say, we go up, because it doesn't have normals. So it has to go somewhere, and the direction is, I would say, vector up. Oh, shouldn't be centimeter. There you go. So we have now that stored position, which allows us to generate these particles from those positions. So something like that. There's you can sort of abuse this method and make it work for what you're trying to do. Okay. Let's see. I'd love to create an optical illusion style tunnel in C4D, but with a slightly warped tunnel. Any tips? I don't know what you mean. An optical illusion style tunnel. Yeah, please, some sort of reference or an explanation, so I understand what exactly you mean. Let's go down here. Yeah, everyone, go sign up at Iran's YouTube channel. Iran, please post your YouTube channel for everyone to know where you are. Iran is a master of After Effects and more things. Let's see. What is this question? Is there a way to map UV and texture from surface-generated particles into volume-generated particles from the same object? Not directly. So let me read this again. We want to map UV and texture. We cannot map texture. You have to go through UVs, and I think one of the particle tutorials mentions a way to do this using my favorite caricature called Big Man. Sorry for that. Into volume-generated particles. You could project values. It's not using the particle nodes modifier. There are many ways to, go in a certain direction and project a value to certain numbers of particles. It depends what exactly you want to do and how you want to do it. Technically, if we can read surface data and generate volume particles, then it should be possible to transfer values from the surface to the volume. Maybe you need even 2 particle groups, but you can do that using the particle nodes modifier. It's a bit I think too much. I'll see how much time we have. And again, this is an ideal thing to send me an example of what you're trying to do on my Twixer feed. Let's see. We more depressed nihilism. Herman says, just relax. AI is going to take over and nothing is going to matter very soon. So let's go. Let's see what this is. I'm making a smooth curtain floating with turbulence force. I get the top points not affected by it. Belt or fixed points don't work. I mean, the turbulence force, you can mask it. Let's see, because I think so. Let's assume we have a curtain. Okay, let's go to the standard layout and let's go get some lines here and get some subdivisions. Okay, and we have a curtain here. Okay, so let's go and hang the curtain. So I'm going to create well, hanger. We have a hanger here. Okay, I like hangers because you can hang things. So let's add a few more of these segments just so that the points have somewhere to go. There we go. It's not necessary, but it's helpful. I don't want them to overlap. So I'm going to make this. I'm going to make this actually. So the way I like to do things is, I think we can. I don't remember if this is possible, but I'll try and see if it's possible. I'm going to simulation connector, create auto update. Let me see if we can. Okay, so connector objects don't work this way. What the way you would set this up is rigging. I'm going to make it a cloth and make sure in the mix animation it's just pinned 100%. Now I can go here and I can do this. So the larger the distance, these points are going to be pinned on this. All right. So now if you put some sort of turbulence, there we go. If we put some turbulence there, and let's increase this. Let's see how much of that is going to be affected. So let's put turbulence and turbulence, turbuli. And let's go here and increase this. So it does affect those points. Okay. But if we don't want them to be affected by simulation, okay, I'm going to go the other way. Just leave them alone. I'm going to use the mix animation here because unless you want to mask the turbulence, right? Let's take these a step at a time. I'm going to mask the turbulence. I'm going to get a linear, go here, the opposite, minus, and I'm going to make sure that there are no forces upwards, right? You can put this down here, and you're going to get the forces more down here. Everything else is just moving because it's tied to it. Okay, you can control how much the turbulence is going to apply its little thingy. Okay, that's number one. So if you will want to do it using space, you can do it this way. The other thing you need to do is exclude these top points from the simulation or minimize the effect of the simulation by using the mix animation. So we're going to go and create a vertex map. So other tags and make a vertex map. This vertex map is going to be using a linear field. And basically what you're telling the cloth is the high values are the ones that are going to be simulated. So I need to reverse this unless I got it the opposite way. Or is it I want to pin these? Right. It shouldn't have said that because it's always the opposite, isn't it? Always the opposite. Yep, it is the opposite. Darn. Okay, let's go back. Yeah, I didn't drop the point restriction. I have no idea why I'm not doing it. You have to drag the vertex map here, Mr. Noseman. There you go. It is. I was correct. It's not the opposite. It's the white values, sorry, the yellow values, which is 1, are the ones that are going to receive the simulation. So in this particular case, this linear field is controlling how much is reacting to that. Now, if you want the rest of it to be slightly affected, then you can just go to your linear field and play around with the values for, let's go back, minimum and maximum here. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, that's interesting. This, huh, that's interesting. I was expecting this to move a bit. Okay. Yep. That I need to look into because this, in my view, doesn't make much sense. Or maybe it's just the values. Yeah, you can see it's moving. So it's not linear. Okay, it's not linear. But you can see that using this technique, you can control the amount and so forth. Okie dokie. So that's how you would go about playing, controlling the turbulence. Okay. So the projection outside a building. So it appears that this subject of these, projection ads is, I would say, somewhat of a hot topic. And there's a number of steps that need to be taken in order to do something like that. The most important thing is to understand the limitations. So give me a second. Give me a second, because I may have an example. I'm not going to explain the whole thing. I'm just going to give you a bit of an example. But I need to remember where I have it, because I never remember where I have things. Let's see here. Doobie. If I don't find it in 30 seconds, I'm just going to drop it. So I need to go by dates here. Okay. And all right, I'm going to just search in my huge repository for projection. Okay, let's see if that comes up with something. If it doesn't, I need to plan some sort of a tutorial thing or something like that, because, yeah, I'm getting this question quite often. And it's one of those things that Cinema 4D is used to do. So I'm getting some hits for my search. Let me see if I don't even remember how I called this thing. Darn. Why can I not remember anything? Well, yeah. It was either extremely smart or very good memory. I couldn't have both, and I chose extremely smart. I didn't know that that will be a problem. Okay. I can't find it. So what I will do is, no, it's not this. I thought I found it. Okay. So I'm going to take a note. Tutorial on projections. Or maybe what I could do is the next Ask the Trainer, I'm going to dedicate it to showing the full thing, right? That could be it, or a tutorial. So I will see. Okay. Anamorphic 3D billboards. Okay. Excellent. Yeah, and I have an example. It really angers me because I was showing it to someone, but for some reason I just can't remember. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Let's continue. Let's continue. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Hello Studio. A way to bake the dome light to an object. I don't know if you can be a bit more specific, but I do not know a way to bake the light to an object. Maybe there is a way. I can't think of it right now. Okay. Okay. Dome light with gradients possible with shader graph node. Yeah, if you find things that work in the shader graph and don't work in the new node system, please send it to Maxim. Tech support, tell them how much needed it is and all that. Okay, that's another one from my very good friend Iran. Is there a way to bake vertex colors in Redshift? So when I export the object with the materials, something like FBX, GLB, it will show up. Bake the colors in Redshift? No. But let's give this some sort of alternative spin. So let's go and get Big Man. All right, this is Big Man. And the reason is that he already has a texture and all that. Okay. So let's assume I've got this dude all nicely done and all that. What I would do is use bake sets to bake one a sort of equivalent of a luminance color. Okay. Nothing to do with vertex maps yet. Okay. Nothing to do with vertex maps. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, let's assume that this guy's material here was the result of a bake operation. Okay. So let's assume that I did a bake set, or I use Cinema 4D standard render to bake whatever textures I want onto a single UV. What you can do is for this object, or any object for that matter, I'm going to go and add a subdivision surface. So we have a different number of polygons and make it, let's say 3 and 3. Okay, so we have a lot of polygons here. So what I want to do now is bake the information that comes from this image onto a vertex color. So I'm going to go to this and add a vertex color. And in this vertex color, I'm going to go and use a shader field. In the shader field, because I want to reference this material with this projection, just to make sure, what you're going to do is you're going to say, I want the color, because this material here has it in the color channel. There you go. It's in the color channel. And you're going to tell the shader field to go and, let's go back here, to go and get the color channel from this tag. So what you're seeing here, and I can make this, well, I can put another material in front of it, right? So you don't see that. But here, when I select this, what you're seeing here is actually the vertex color data. This, if you bake it out, contains that vertex data. So let me go and freeze this. Let's go and I think I can freeze this. Freeze layer. I want to freeze this. I think I can remove it now. Oh, come on, freeze layer. Why are you doing this to me? Undo. So I want to, Max, freeze this. Just freeze. Why isn't it? Anyway, I don't care about the freeze. I'm going to remove the textures to show you that. Oh, export this, whatever. Right click, current state to object, Big Man. Hopefully, there you go. Current state to object. And I don't want a material. I'm freaking out here. Current state to object doesn't bake it. I want to bake this. Freeze, for some reason, is not working for me. I just want it to freeze this data. I don't want the data to disappear. So let me think. Alembic, right click, bake as Alembic, whatever, I don't care what that is. I don't want an animation, but in any case, I've got the data here. I should delete everything and still have the data available. Yeah, so it does bake it down. It annoys me that, yeah, the data is here. It just annoys me that I couldn't find make this editable, and there you go. So you can export this. So the shader field will be, forget about everything else and me getting frustrated with this. Just remember that you can transfer any texture by using a shader field, providing the material with the color values and all that is there. So this guy here has all the color information baked on the point level using this vertex color. Hopefully that is a way to move forwards. Otherwise, you can contact me directly and we can look at this for a specific use case. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's go. Mm-hmm. 1 second, just reading the questions. I'm skipping some questions, which I don't really understand. Is there a way to offset the ID larger than D formula that you've QuickTip video? Which one are you referring to? Which QuickTip? I need to check it out. Let's see. iPhone 16. I do not know. I do not have an iPhone 16. And for Redshift stuff, Ellie does most of the stuff. Let's see. Thermal splines, the single point. No. Is it possible to connect? So we don't have forking splines. Although it is possible technically to do that using nodes. Nodes does support forking lines. Cinema 4D itself doesn't support it, so you won't be able to do anything with it. So the answer is no. Let's see, what else do we have here? Let's see. Yes, the train did think it was wagging its tail. Let's see what this is. I went to the Cinema 4D documentation recently in the node editor section. I've always found it quite difficult to understand. Are there any comprehensive advanced tutorials to help me understand it? Have you checked out the new Cineversity tutorials we're uploading? Watch the Create with Maxon, the 5 weeks we did, 4 with Dominic Rockley and 1 with Jonas Pills. Dominic Rockley has his own YouTube channel that has a lot of content. Donovan Keith has created a YouTube channel that talks about Cinema 4D nodes. All the links and all that are in the shows, the relevant shows. So yeah, a lot of information. Start from Dominic's tutorials and check out the Cineversity tutorials and all that nice stuff. Yes, so let's see, reverse perspective camera. Yeah, we can't make it so that it's reverse perspective in that way, but what we can do is use MoGraph to create a sort of similar effect. It could be some sort of OSL node or something like that. I don't know, but not built on tools. So funny enough, if you check out today's QuickTip on the Max on YouTube and Max on YouTube channels and Max on Training Team YouTube channels, I'm actually showing how to do a, what's it called again? I forgot the title of what I made. It's called anamorphic illusion. So it's an anamorphic illusion using perspective, and you can use a similar technique to do what you're suggesting. Now let me show you what I would say is a similar technique. You can use MoGraph to do that. Now, you want it to be camera dependent. Let me go and open today's file. Quick tips. Let's go to 3D projects, anamorphic effect. So here's the anamorphic effect. Now, what you're going to see in today's quick tip is that although this looks like a robust word, it's actually a bunch of cubes that happen to be in an arrangement that works with this. Okay, so go check out the tutorial. But what you could do is, because I've made the ones that are closer to the camera smaller, I can make the ones in the back bigger. All right, so I can go and I'm going to make the ones in the back by inverting my field to be here. So although it's not very visible, and actually what I'm going to do is make my cubes very thin on the Z axis, so we get some sort of parallax. What you're seeing here is the objects in the back are much bigger. So let me go and make them even bigger in the back here. I don't know, maybe I can light this and we can see how it looks. I don't even know how it's going to look. Let's go start IPR and let's get some auto HDR, and let's drag it in here. Let's drag this one. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, you can see now that the foreground, they're much smaller, and I can exaggerate this by making it 1 and 1 and 0.02. And the ones in the back, I'm going to make them 50 times bigger or 100 times bigger, and maybe even spread them out more than they are. Ooh, I think that's too much. So anything on the back is bigger than anything on the front, and everything is controlled. The where these things converge is controlled by the secondary camera. It could be a point, it could be anything. It just happens to be tied. If I move this, you can see the configuration changes. So I'm not sure if this is the solution, but there are various little tricks you can do in order to probably imitate an effect like that. Okie doke. Let's see. I haven't used CMotion for a long time. I don't know. This is something I need to check out. Let's see. Let's talk about C nodes. Have you watched the tutorials? That's the question, because you need to watch the tutorials and come back with questions. Okay, let's see this question. Bass house or base house? I have a cloner of spline shapes running horizontally. I'd like to be able to scale the heights of the shapes to a curve at the top and bottom of the spline. This would be something similar to what we did earlier with the axes, geometry axes of something. You would like to scale the heights of the shape. So let's go. I'd like to be able to scale the heights of the shapes to a curve at the top, bottom of the splines. I may not know what you mean. Do you want to align them like this so they're stacked? or something else. You want to do something like that, because if this is what you want, sort of a stacking, just watch I don't remember if it was the third episode with Dominic Rookley and the nodes. He showed exactly how to make a stacked, and the files are available. Let me know if that's. I don't know what you mean. Filling in arch. Okay. So between different. Is it possible to create a switch node like Houdini? Switch node lets you switch between different geometry objects. Yeah, there is a switch node. So it's the top of the hour. So what I'm going to do is just go through a couple more things, and then we're going to close the show. So the switch node. So let's go and create some sort of useful thing. Useful, in quotes. There you go. So a nodes mesh. And what I want to do, let's see, I want to create some sort of cloning mechanism. I know we can do this using MoGraph, I know, but I want to do it in nodes because I want to add more functionality to it. So cube, a sphere, and what else? A cone, right? Something majestic here. And I'm going to let's go to my nodes. Let me close stuff here so I can see my nodes. Okay, select the nodes mesh. And I'm going to use a distribution. Okay, let's go for a grid distribution, a very simple one. A grid distribution will allow us to transform the geometry. I'm not creating objects. I'm going to create geometry clones here. So I'm going to use that grid to create some copies of the geometry. It's going to go out here. Now, how do we read the stuff? So first, let's go and create an object link, 3 object links. There are other ways to do this. I could use an array or something like that. Object child. So I have these 3 children, this one, this one, this one. And what I'm going to read from these is just the geometry. Switch. And I'm going to set the switch to be of data type geometry object. I'm going to add one more, and I'm going to get the 3 things over here. And now I can actually select, if I want, through this little menu, which one of the clones I need to do. Now, what the interesting thing about this is that I can do various things with this to target some of these clones, and say that depending on a number or something like that. So let's go and do the following thing. I'm going to go and cycle the indices and use the index, and now we're going to get cone, sphere, cube, cone, sphere, cube. And that is because this iteration is controlling the whole loop, and it's generating all these little objects, which are just getting consolidated at the geometry level over here. And what's happening here is that for each different index number, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these sort of iterate from 0 to whatever, but we're cycling. So anything more than 0, 1, 2, 3 becomes 0. So it's sort of a modulo thing. And you can just go and add more and more and more of these. Now, if you have an arbitrary number of objects, and I don't know why I'm saying this, but it's interesting nonetheless, you can go and add an object, objects. This will give you an array of objects. So you can delete this. Right. This is an array of objects. You can see it's an array collection that has geometry objects and all sorts of other things relating to those objects. And you can get element. You can take this array and you can put this geometry here. I'm gonna All right, and you can drive this using the index now. So we have the same thing we had before, but using an arbitrary number of objects. So if I go here and add, let's say, a capsule, the capsule is going to be added to the whole thing, because this allows you to read not a specific number of objects like we did, but any objects that happen to be children. Okay, and yeah, this is what you would do. And in case you ask, let's assume we want to colorize these things. We will say color. I always forget the name of that. It's set color. But we need to set the color of the geometry so it's written in a vertex color tag. So you're going to go here. You're going to go here, I said. You're going to go here and set this to value. It brings up the value. You can expose this, and then you can use either from the iterate collection, and it will put the colors based on the 3D UV position, UVW position of this, or any color you want. You can use another switch, for example. You can say switch, and we're going to use a color instead of that. So we have red, and let's go here, blue, and you guess it, green. Right, let's just stay with RGB, and you can colorize these and just use the same index, and it will sort of red, green, and blue, colorize the geometry, index, index. Huh, not after the fact. Yeah, I need to put the color. I'm being silly. The color needs to be before in here, because otherwise I'm colorizing everything, whatever the last value was. Silly me. But now each and every one of the objects is going to go and receive a different value. Also, I thought cycle indices. Yep, there you go. It's always one button. Oh, look at this. It's a screen, 3D screen effect. But in any case, the switch node allows you to do all sorts of weird tricks. I would expect it to work like in the same manner as the Redshift switch and stuff like that. Okay. Let's see, where are we? Let's see. Yeah, we don't. Okay. We don't. Right. I'm going to put my face up here because it's very important. Okay. I'm not going to kick anyone. It's annoying. Please don't do it. Right. I don't want to. Oh, we're going to kick you out of the stream and all that. Just please be respectful to other people. You know, we're all here to learn. I learn from you and all that. So just be courteous. Everyone is welcome. Everyone, you know, there is no one is perfect, right? And I'm the first one to admit that I'm very, very much imperfect. My colleagues know what I'm talking about. It's just nice to be in an environment where we feel mutually respected. All questions are, you know, valid. I read the question, and if someone wants to make a particular, you know, request about something, let me know what you need, and it may find its way. Excellent. So, having said that, let's see the reference image. I'm going to check. Let me quickly check here. Let me go and do a quick check. Let's go to messages. Let's go to message request. Let's go. This tunnel effect, except. Okay, that. Okay, this tunnel is super simple. Is this tunnel effect on a round object of sorts? Okay, so there's this image here, which let's copy the image. See if I can bring it here. Let's go to one of my favorite softwares, which is called MS Paint. Let's see if there you go. So this is the reference image. I would assume this is some sort of torus or round shape and you just want to create this material. Is that correct? If I'm not mistaken, that's what you want to do. So let's try and do that. And that's going to be the last question for today. I'm going to do this. So first of all, let's go and create the object. And I'm going to go here and close these things. Close everything. I just want to go and close everything. Right click and close all. Nope, 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 nope. Good. And go to standard. Okay. So best thing is get a square and then get a lathe. Put it in the square and move this around so we get the little corridor thing. Then you would go here and let's open it up because we want it to be open. And take a look inside. And we don't need caps. No. Terms and conditions apply. Okay, so now it seems to have more of a perspective. And when you see this, so you will compare, when you see that something is not getting as small as you expect it to while you're looking inside or something like that, it could be a camera setting in the sense that you need a wider lens, which means a smaller focal length. And this will make things, you can see this looks smaller now, and the smaller the focal length creates this, perspective thingy. There you go. So let's go here. Now let's see how we would go about doing something like this, all right? Because this is not only about the projection. So something like this is a cylindrical projection, okay? Because it goes all the way around. And it's just a cylindrical projection of something which is half black and half white. So let's go and create that half black and half white thing. Let's drop a material here and set it to cylindrical. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to the material itself, and I'm going to just dock this down here. So I'm not going to use any animation. I can control click these to sort of remove these, fold them down. Control clicking on that little bar folds things down. And I'm going to get rid of my reflection. Okay. Now, let's go and get a tile. Usually for these kind of things, you can get a tile. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to look at it here. Okay. This tile, I'm going to get, let's say lines. It has lines, just vertical lines. Okay. And UV, there you go. Just going to make one of them black and one of them white. And no grooves or anything like that. Okay. This looks okay. So this is now a cylindrical projection. Now I can't see it. So I want to make sure that my cylinder here, if you want to see the cylinder, what I'm going to do is go to my standard layout. If I select my object and go to this little thingy here, you can see the cylinder, right? Now the cylinder is 180 degrees around now. It's projecting all the way around. And what I want to do is make sure that I have more repetitions. Let's say 100 repetitions in the U, or is it the V? Let me see which one I want to do. There you go. So 100 repetitions here, or 50 repetitions here. So now, in theory, if I go here, I have my effect. And this would be the way to do it. All I have to do is make sure that I get the proper lighting here, put it in color, and put this here. There we go. You can see it's lit from there. Let's add some nice little, I'm going to add a dome light. So let's add a dome light to get some light surrounding the whole thing. There we go. And there's light coming in there. So I think the best idea is to go to the object itself, the lathe, and change the angle. Oh, it's from this side. So I should have gone to the other side. So anyway, I'm just going to move this and rotate the whole thing to come back to me over here. Let's close this and oops, I'm rotating the material. I don't want to rotate the material. I want to rotate the object. There we go. So I'm going to put this there so it's not visible, and go to the lathe now and just extend this angle here. And there you go. So now, barring some small inconsistencies, so let's say 3, we have this. So this will be a way to do something like this, and it's all nice and radial, and you just have to place your camera in the right position to get the effect you want. And that would be it for this. Hopefully it sort of shows you a way forward for one of these things. Hello, Sharon. Sharon, where were you? Sharon is working hard, everyone. So please say hi to Sharon. Fantastic. Fitting clothes by index. Offset in time. Which one? Did you paste a link and it didn't come through or something like that? Hit me up on Twitter. Just make sure for everyone, just DM me here. Thank you. And let's continue with the comments. And what else do we have? I think that's it. I'm so smart. I'm so skilled. Oh, that's actually a very good question. Okay, so let's do some philosophical questions now. I'm not sharing my screen anymore. Good. This is one of the most relevant questions. Okay. Number one, I want to say that most, if not all, of 3D software developers are doing a wonderful job, regardless of the platform and all that. Maxon is doing a better job, but that's a different story. Now, having said that, Houdini is an amazing piece of software. No one denies that. But for people that are creative, I'm not, but for people that are creative, Cinema 4D's ease of use and the ability to enter the ecosystem and start producing nice things is much lower. The bar is much lower, especially for non-technical users. One of the reasons I fell in love with Cinema 4D, and I'm still involved in more so now than I've been since the late 90s, when I first saw Cinema 4D somewhere in London, England, is that it has offered a lot of younger people mostly, or other people that try and find a career, a path forwards because of its ease of use. And the reason I choose it is because I'm more interested in teaching things to people that want to make nice things. And although I do teach things that are a bit more complex sometimes, I only do that because it makes me seem smarter. So there's no goodwill over there. It's all self-serving. But I just, I enjoy Cinema 4D because you can use it without having to solve a lot of problems. You can sit there and drag a couple of things and press on one button, and things don't get in the way. Houdini, for all its brilliance as a 3D software, is still something that requires you to do one too many things just to get a baseline thing going on. And I prefer things. I like things that need explanation because I told you, self-serving makes me seem smarter. But at the same time, I do love the response, the immediacy you get from Cinema 4D. Yeah, when I retire, I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I start doing Houdini tutorials as well, or Unreal Engine or stuff like that. But yeah, I'm going to retire when I'm 105, 110. So I still have a few years ahead of me teaching Cinema 4D. Anyway, talking about Cinema 4D, I would like to thank everyone. It's 20 minutes, 20 minutes in the afternoon over here, Eastern time. I would like to thank every single one of you for being here and asking your questions, even X Game Studio for spamming. Everyone is special in their own way. So we have shows. Go to the events page. I posted the link. I'm going to post the link one more time. Let me just post it one more time. I need to do a couple of things to paste it. So click on this link and it will take you to, let's go to the comments, to that page I showed you earlier. Yeah, that has all the other relevant links. Excellent. Again, thank you all very much. And yeah, ask your questions. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks, I think. And anyone that's going to NAB, let me know so we can meet up, come and join us. It's going to be a fantastic show, as usual. Having said that, this is how I always finish the show, because I'm done with what I have to say. I have to click a couple of buttons to find out where the closing loop is. There it is. In the closing loop, there's even a QR code. I think it points to the same thing I just posted. Whatever. Enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your afternoon. Take care, everyone. Thanks for being here with me.